Alright, what's up everybody? We got the Zet Chili here today, a little update video for you and a review. I know I did a semi-review before, we'll do our little rating system this time. And just some updates on the Chili as well. So just from spec-wise, this boat's around 8'11". I think it's about 24.8 inches wide. And then I think the paddler range is like 109 to like 190 or something like that. And volume wise, I think it's around 61 gallons. So it's one of those like small medium boats. So if you're about, I'd say ideal paddler range for this boat, it's about 130 to 165-ish. Yes, you can go lower and you can go higher. I'm just saying that's probably the ideal for this boat. Anyway, so let's just start off with a little simple review here. If you want a more complex review of the actual boat, check out Wade Harrison's video on this. But yeah, just starting at the bow here. It's a very thin bow, a little bit different than what you're going to see on the modern boats, of course. Comes down to a very thin bow there. Super vertical sidewalls, which makes this way different than anything else on the market. Most other boats are going to have a rounded sidewall, which makes it more forgiving and have actual secondary stability. This boat didn't really have any secondary stability. Just coming around here, you got one grab handle here, which all Zet boats super solid, like plastic grab handles, bolts, everything like that is high quality made. But I wish this did have one more grab handle here, just for even loading purposes. You have to have a longer strap to kind of get it through here if you're one strapping, and just a little safer if you needed to kind of pull somebody up from right here. But anyway, it's just a minor thing. And then of course in the back you got one right here, and then another one back here. But your hand does fit in here pretty nice if you need to drag the boat out or pull somebody up or whatnot. It has some little cool hexagon little geographic shapes in these little things. But other than that, yeah, I mean, not too fancy or anything. The tail is super flat, again, kind of like the bow. It's that old school vibe, like a necky jive or necky glitz kind of deal. Got enough room here for any type of skirt. I use the XL on here. You could probably get around away with a large IR. But yeah, that's kind of the outside of the boat. Now I'll flip it over and show you the hull. So this is hull of the boat, super flat. Really flat all along the whole hull, as you can see. And what that makes it for is a super fast boat, really fast boat, but also it has these sharp sidewalls and it's not very forgiving, like I said before. It does have a little bit of an edge. It kind of starts, I guess, right about here, and then it's got some kick rocker coming off the bow to help you boof. But yeah, it really doesn't have a whole lot of necessarily what you would call an edge. It does come down here to the back a little bit. Just looking at the plastic, so this boat's been on the Green a few times, been on the Chihuahua, just took it on the West Fork of the Tuck, which is super shallow, as you can see, just the normal surface scratches. It's been off the Columbus line of Gorilla, so as you can tell, that Zet plastic's super nice. This is really only the kind of scratch you can see there, but otherwise, they have great plastic, like I said. So this is a Zet demo boat, so it's going to be a little different than my boat. So I'll just show you what it would come with from the factory. And again, it leaves something to be desired. This isn't the same outfitting you see in the 5 or Cross. They did this to kind of save weight and some other aspects. I wish they would just put the normal outfitting in there. I would personally pay extra for the same outfitting that the 5 has to put in here. Anyway, so what you get is some molded in thigh braces here, and then some padding under here, which doesn't stay. Mine actually came out within 5 minutes of owning the one over here that I bought. So that was not very good. You have these really cheap kind of hip shim things that do absolutely nothing. And there's extra padding that you can put on here that falls out. Mine also fell out with first time carrying it down to the river. I'm not sure what they're doing here. I really don't know. Anyway, and then the back band is very supportive if you can get it tight. But however, of course, these cleats slip out after doing nothing, basically. You have to make sure you tie a nice knot in here, preferably a safety knot you can get out if you have to get out of the boat. But I will say it makes it hard to get it super tight. You have to get in there and get as tight as you can and tie a knot so it doesn't slip. So the pros and cons of that is you can get it really tight, but also if you want to get out, it's hard to get out. Down here, you have your kind of standard Zet bulkhead with the foam, and then your two little wing nut things here, which are really solid, well made. And all this is very similar to the other Zet boats. The main thing you aren't getting is the nice thigh hooks, nice hip pads, And of course the back band is different, which it's ratchet on the other boats. But yeah, so just coming over here, this is what I did to mine. And it does help, doesn't solve the problem, but it does help a little bit. Is I bought some Jackson just hip pads here, and they go in really nice. And add some padding there, makes it a little more comfortable. Again, you can see my safety knot tied in the cleats here. And as you can see, both my foams fell out here. I have no foam right now. Seat's super easy to move though. It's just one little bolt here. You take it out on both sides, slide it forward. You got 3 different settings. I have it all the way back setting right now. Other than that, not really any modifications you can do to this boat. And I'll show you some updates they sent me here. So these are some updates they sent me. So basically what these are going to do, there's a tool they're going to send me here that kind of takes out these little plastic triangles here. And this will kind of shove up in here and I guess sit like this so it doesn't fall out too easy. So that's an upgrade on at least the thigh hooks. Again, it's still not going to come over like you really want. You can modify this with some B's and E's to give you a little extra, or you might be able to drill some piranha hookers in there. They also gave me some new cleats, which are black. They say they're sharper and they're supposed to clamp down a little better, but I don't know. I've tried with the rope and I don't see any difference at all, so I don't really see any point in putting these in. I know Trent and Zet Kayaks USA are working on a backstrap system with actual pull strap that kind of goes through here and wires through here some way and pulls down and makes this a lot better. So I'm really excited about that, and I hope they put that in the upcoming chili. So anyway, that's just some updates you have. I think they are working on some other hip pads too, so keep that in mind. Alright, let's now get to the Matt Wallin ratings. Who knows, y'all probably make fun of me for doing this, but I just think it's something fun to do to give a boat at least some sort of number. Anyway, we'll start out with Downriver because that's the best thing this boat does. Downriver, it punches through holes really well. If you get this thing up to speed, despite the lack of bow rocker, it's so quick and kind of penciled in on the bow. And it actually does, if you use a stern, you can get up and over holes if you take that late boost stroke. It actually does really well downriver and punches through these big holes. I haven't had any issue. The stern doesn't grab. It does really well in that aspect. It's fast. It gets up to speed well if you stop. It's agile and nimble. It can get through, you know, thin crevices if you need to. Those places where you kind of put your paddle vertical or against your head, and, you know, like mail slide on the galley. I will say though, again, it's not forgiving, it's not very stable, so you have to be on your toes when you paddle this boat. It wants to be paddled. It's an aggressive boat, so keep that in mind. But overall, downriver, this thing is a beast. I've taken on the green and the Tallulah, all sorts of stuff, and had 0 issues as far as getting back into it or stopped in a hole. So, and it's super fun downriver. That's the whole point of getting this boat. So I have to give it a 9 or 9.5 for downriver. Alright, so for creeking, y'all probably think I'm nuts taking this thing creeking, but you know what? I've taken it on the green, the West Fork Tuck. Had a little trouble there, but creeking, you know, it's not made to be a creek boat, but it is capable. Despite what you think about the lack of bow rocker, it actually gets some pretty good boosts. If you use this stern to boost off of, it will launch off some stuff. It's also, again, it's nimble. It doesn't necessarily carve that well if you get in trouble and have to correct. And the other thing is, sometimes coming out of drops, it comes out a little too hot. And some of those steep drops, and you might not want to come out that hot on. So, there's some things there. I guess one thing is the bow is a little thin, kind of like, again, those RPM styles. So you could get pinned potentially on the bow. But at least it has that kind of safety feature up here where you can get out and the knee volume's not pressed down so bad. But anyway, creeking overall, I'll probably give this about a 6. Again, it's not made for a creek boat. It does fine though. I feel comfortable taking it down, so don't rule it out for creeking. Alright, so this boat is a half slice, so you're probably wondering what's the playability of this boat. So, I have to break it down kind of 2 different things. Surfing, if you just want to front surf this boat, this thing is like a surfboard. It carves super well, it stays on waves nicely, it doesn't purl a lot. It's really good on a wave if you just want to front surf. It also 360 spins very well in a hole. The other thing that I have to say is this stern is really hard to get vertical, and it doesn't really want to stay vertical. It's got that weird point where it's like, it doesn't just catch and kind of pirouette. It just wants to go all or nothing. This is probably one of the hardest boats I've had that I've tried to stern squirt, and I got the seat all the way back. Even the goat and puffy seeds, I would say, are a little easy to stern squirt. Got to have a powerful eddy. You got to have really good technique. And part of that is just, again, I was at Nanny Hill the other day working on the stern squirts, and I tried and tried and tried. Finally got to the point where I think I felt the point on it. But it's a boat you're going to have to try at. Now, stern pivoting is awesome at, and that's what it's really made for that slalom type thing, where you're stern pivoting, going under the gates, and then keep on trucking. So, overall playability though, downriver, splatting, that kind of thing. Again, surfing, I have to give it a 9, but if you combine everything into like a half slice like you'd want, I have to probably give it a 6 or even a little bit lower for playability. Alright, just a little bit about the comfort of this boat though. The seat is really comfortable, and you can actually shave this down if you want to sit down a little more. But this foam seat's really comfortable. You can put a water bottle and throw rope right here, so that's really nice. I usually put a sponge, water bottle, and throw. That's all what I keep right here typically. And then there is enough kind of knee room here to where it's comfortable, and you could get out if you got pins. So it's a pretty safe boat as far as being able to get out. You know, a lot of people compare this to a RPM, but the RPM is really low on the knees right here, which makes it unsafe. So I'd say safety-wise, it's still a pretty safe boat, as if you get pinned, you can get out right here. And I'm comfortable in here with shoes on. I don't really have an issue. So I can sit in here all day, no problem. So it's still a pretty comfortable boat despite some of the flaws in the outfitting. Alright, so you're probably thinking to yourself, well, this boat isn't all that great. It's not that well-rounded. Who's this boat for? This boat is for, I would say, intermediate to advanced paddlers. It's definitely not a beginner boat. It's not forgiving at all. There's no secondary stability. It's going to punish you if you're not driving the boat and being aggressive with it. So beginners, I would say, are out on this boat unless you are really wanting to get your butt whooped. Who's this for? Weight range, I would say, again, I mentioned earlier in the video, 130 to about 165 ideally. I would say you could go down to 110 to probably 180 if you really wanted to. You know, lower weight, obviously you're going to have more of that downriver speed. Higher weight, you'll be able to stern squirt this thing a lot easier. The other type of people who want this boat are people who really want to sharpen their skills and be a better boater. Yeah, could I paddle a rewind or a softer boat? And nothing against a rewind, awesome boat, but it is a softer boat. If you want to paddle the softer boats, it's not a boat that's going to teach you more. It's not a boat that's going to sharpen your kayaking skills. I paddle this boat even though I might get trashed more, even though it might get me hurt on the river. I'm paddling it because it makes me a better kayaker, and that's why I like the Chili. One thing though, who's this boat kind of not for? This is not a quiver killer. It's not one of those 1/2 slices you're going to get and it's going to do it all. It was made to be a slalom boat, so it's not something you're going to want. You're going to want this as like an extra boat to take out and paddle. If you want that one quiver boat, you know, you're looking at a Rewind, Ripper 2 now, or an Outtakes. So, again, that's one, I guess, drawback, but again, I don't think when they were making the Chili, they intended it to be that way. Alright, another reason why you might want to buy this Chili, or who's this boat for, is if you want to practice slalom and you don't really want to pay the price for a slalom boat. I'm sure they're really expensive because they're composite and fiberglass and all that. So if you want to practice slalom, this is what it was made for. You know, the Ripper Evo is coming out soon, so we'll see how that does. Wade's calling it the Chili Cooker, so we'll have to compare those when it comes out. But anyway, for right now, this is really only the kind of slalom-focused plastic boat. So if you want to practice slalom, give it a shot. Another thing is, you know, it's kind of like, I would say the biggest comparison would be like a Ripper 1 small. That's probably the closest thing I compare it to as far as the design and everything like that. So this is a lot cheaper boat. I think it retails for $1,300 or something like that. And Piranha's run almost $1,700 now. So again, if you want kind of a similar agile speed boat that's fun downriver, this would be another option for, like, you know, $400 less. well, that's it on the Zet Chili, and I will be paddling some more because I do love this boat. So just watch my videos. I'll have some specific rivers that I'm running on, things like that. But yeah, this is a Zet Chili video. I hope y'all like it. Comment, subscribe, like. It helps us out on the channel. Please do that. And then if y'all have any comments, questions, or any other boats you want me to do the rating review on, please let me know. Appreciate y'all. And check out Labor Day. We'll have a launch on all of our merchandise. Check y'all later. Are you ready? And Matt's mowing in the front yard again. Great. It's not gonna happen with him mowing in the front yard.